reminder, we have microphones on both sides. We'll start with some opening comments from Coach Miller.
A credit, obviously, to Wisconsin, their team, their staff. They did a great job today, obviously ready to play. In the Big Ten opener, they hadn't been home in a while, and coming off of a few tough ones, we knew we were going to deal with a sharp group that was ready, and they were. Very sharp offensively. We didn't have a whole lot of resistance, and them being able to get off to a good start shooting the ball probably alleviated a little bit of pressure off their back, which they hadn't been shooting as well earlier in the week or 2 weeks. But you know, to that, our team did not play well on either end of the floor, and sometimes that happens to groups that are, you know, early in the season. You're on the road, especially in a conference environment against a conference team. You know, you're going to run into some of these opportunities here where you're going to have to find a little bit about yourself. And I think that's the thing that I took away most importantly, was where we're at from a leadership standpoint, where we're at from a group standpoint in terms of our resolve. And you could tell throughout the course of the game, we had a quiet group today, all the way around. And I got to do a better job of finding ways to continue to get them to use their voices to each other and continue to use, each other as they talk to one another, because that's all you have on the road. And we got to do a better job of that. But we have a quick turnaround. Obviously, we're on a big stage Tuesday night as we head to the Garden. And this feeling that's in us right now, it's not going to go away until you work itself out. You got to earn that right, and we're going to try real hard to do that, obviously, as we take the floor on Tuesday. But we weren't very good, and Wisconsin had a lot to do with it.
Questions for Coach?
I guess just how much of the disappointment did you feel after the poise and the maturity you showed in tight moments against Florida State to just not be able to carry any of that over to the first half of this game?
It was disappointing, but I think it was disappointing for everyone. I think our team was literally pleading with one another, pleading with each other in the 4-minute timeouts, talking on the bench. I think we were searching. We were searching for that breakout moment there early to get ourselves with our 2 feet back on the ground and everyone say, okay, we're fine, we're okay. We never really got there. So that was a little frustrating. But that happens. I mean, you go through season after season, you learn about your group, and we've got to become more of a grimy team on the road. At home, it's easy, so to speak, when you're playing in that environment that we play in. But Wisconsin had that at their disposal today. I thought they were very confident, and we weren't able to really punch back or throw resistance. That was probably the most disappointing thing, was the defensive resistance. Our effort level has been pretty good. It's been growing. And I thought that we got frustrated with them making shots and didn't continue to just stay with it possession after possession. Our offense didn't help the cause, especially early in the game. We had some tough possessions with some tough shots and some tough turnovers that we weren't able to get some clean ones. And then when you do get the clean ones, you got to make the ones that are easy around the basket or make a couple free throws to hang in there, which we didn't do.
Friend here, Coach.
Yeah, Coach, what did you feel the biggest problem was with your defense, particularly in the first 10, 12 minutes when they were getting some open shots?
Well, I think, when you play against a team like Wisconsin, they're very hard to speed up. They did a great job of cutting and screening and moving and working the possession. You're going to deal with long possessions when you deal with Wisconsin, okay? And you're not just going to pressure, the ball, for a couple minutes and get some good stuff. You're going to have to work at it and keep grinding and get into a rhythm on defense like you do on offense. And our ball pressure, 1 through 5 on the perimeter, allowed their team to move it easily. They saw people easily, and they got clean looks, even from inside the line, uncontested, or at least quality face-up shots that just, they were too easy. And they got into a very, very comfortable rhythm running their stuff. There wasn't a whole lot of physicality from us, and there wasn't a whole lot of tenaciousness on the ball. So I thought that just our inability to disrupt them at all, or to be able to put pressure on them, be able to be sturdy around the basket, it wasn't there. It was, at this time of year, you hate to use the word soft defense or whatnot, but as we're growing, our defense was not at the level that it needed to be on the road. You got to travel with that. Just look at the rebounding total. We were out rebounded by 1, and that hasn't happened all year. I think we had on the stat sheet 3 steals and 3 blocks. You had 6 deflected balls. Basically on a stat sheet, you're hunting double that, and that's activity. We didn't have it, and we searched. We played a lot of guys. We really couldn't get a lineup or a group that was able to establish anything. So, defensively, very disappointed in our effort on the ball and our inability to really disrupt and then play tough at the finish of possessions, because that's what you have to do with them. You have to be able to play tough at the end of possessions and rebound long balls, and we didn't do it.
Right in front of your coach.
Archie, you mentioned in your opening statement about maybe finding out they have a quiet team from a leadership standpoint tonight. So what does that process look like now, especially in season, trying to get your guys to talk more and to be louder and communicate better on the court?
Well, I mean, I think it's just an adjustment. It's like a player who's working on his game. Part of working on your game and your role is you got to step outside yourself and try to be, better in certain areas. And I think we got to be better in the area of talking. I think that we've pleaded with this team as much as any that I've been around in terms of trying to get guys to talk a little bit more. And the communication on the floor tonight, whether it was early in the game where you saw guys get whacked on a screen that you didn't see coming, or communicating on underneath that of bounds thing, just little stuff. We got to become a more savvy team with our talk and communication. And as we watch this film and as we continue to go through practice, you have to put that on the front burner, so to speak, in terms of demanding it. It isn't as if we haven't been good at times, talking or better. But today was a quiet group out there at times, and you can't have that. You got to have a rallying cry at some point. And, somebody's got to be able to jumpstart you, shake you up a little bit, so to speak. The guy's got to grab you by the jersey a little bit, player to player. And I thought Al tried pretty hard there a couple times in the first half to get us going. But there's also some guys that have never been there before. So we'll take that. Now that they've been there, there's no excuses.
Right here in front of the second row.
Coach, just to follow up on that, I know you, during the first day, you have been talking about how they've been better about communicating with each other, and that is it as simple as just that first road game for the young kids especially, and just being in a different environment, or anything beyond that?
Maybe I'll be honest with you. I was upbeat with our team, after Tuesday. You try to come down off of a good win and make it very, very quickly and put it to bed, which we did. We had 2 good workouts. Devontae didn't practice the last couple of days due to some nagging stuff that he's dealing with, and then compound that with the game, so he wasn't a part of it as much. But we got to get Devontae to be a little bit more demonstrative with his voice. Al's got to be a little demonstrative. Justin, as good as he was on Tuesday with his voice, I thought he was a little quiet today. And I center those guys out in talking, not their intentions. But I think, your first road game is what it is, you could have played really hard today, and we could have had a dogfight of a game. You still came out short in the win column, and there's going to be certain areas you got to improve on. I think today one of the areas we had to improve on, obviously, we weren't ready to play as hard as we needed to against Wisconsin, and we didn't play tough enough. And I think if you add in those 2 things, you're going to have to absorb it, figure it out, and find a way in the game to navigate it and claw your way around. And that's what was a little disappointing. We couldn't claw our way back, because this team has shown the ability through the course of our early part of the year to really be coachable and to really be team-oriented. And I don't think that'll change. And I'm not going to look at this game and say, boy, first road game, really. But we got another one on Tuesday, and it's going to be a great stage on Tuesday. If you're not ready to play on Tuesday, it'll be the same thing. We have to be a better team on Tuesday night than we were here. And just like you try to stay grounded on Tuesday, you got to stay more grounded now. Long year, individual players going through ups and downs as December goes, wins, first love. Listen, let's get back to work. Let's really hone in on a couple things that can't happen. We have to get certain guys to do a better job in those areas, and then we'll keep moving forward, and I think we'll be better on Tuesday. And the feeling in your body after a loss, especially as you experience it for the first time all year, man, it's one of those things that nothing works anymore, nothing's right anymore. Boy, look, you're somewhere in the middle. You could have probably done a little better job on Tuesday in some of these areas, but you won the game, and you're not as exposed as much. They were exposed today in a couple areas. And I think from a staff point of view and what we're doing, we're all in this thing together right now, and no one feels worse about it than me. And I got to do my part to make this team better, and part of it is I got to get them to engage each other a little bit differently at times. And that's hard. That's hard sometimes for kids to talk. And you got certain guys out there for the first time in different scenarios, different leadership situations that now they understand. It's really important. Every play matters. And I think the camaraderie and what we're doing is fine. We're going to have to be a lot better at it moving forward. And if we are, we'll have a better chance.
One more for Coach right up here. Right, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, great. Archie, you mentioned before being a little bit concerned about what might happen when you face a team that wasn't going to let you run and was going to force you to do a lot of things in half court on offense. I guess, did you see a lot of the things that you were concerned that you might see?
Well, I think when you play against Wisconsin, they definitely make you work on both ends of the floor. I thought that them making us work on the defensive side of the ball and us starting to really get pressed and frustrated with not being able to stop them definitely carried over to a lack of execution in the first half in terms of our movement and our ability to run good offense. In a very similar fashion, we should have been cutting hard like them. In a very similar fashion, we should have been moving that ball in and around like them. But we were too quick to try to make an interior play when it's not there. We were too quick to, take a tough shot when, at the end of the day, on the road here, you're going to have to figure a way out to get an easier one. And you got to convert it, at times. But, our running game, at the end of the day is something we take a lot of pride in. And a lot of teams are going to take you out of that. But one of the reasons that we were taken out of our running game today is because a big component to that is your defense. And our defense wasn't good enough at all to be able to play in transition in this game. I mean, it was a very, very simple process. They were running back on defense after they scored about 85% of the time. So, the transition offense and the ability to run good offense, we got to be, poised, and you have to be smart. And we're going to watch the film, and you're going to see, and we're going to see that we could have been a lot better on offense as well, of taking our time and being able to move better and do some things. And I thought, at times that we just didn't convert some easy ones that we needed to. But for the most part, your transition game, especially in high-level games on the road in a conference, it comes down to your defense creating some of that. And our defense created 0 opportunities for us to get out and play with the bodies that we had.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Yep, thank you.